Headed into turn 4 with the green flag. Eddie McLean getting up ahead of Connor McLean. And Eddie McLean will now take first. Eddie McLean has a huge lead. Falling behind him is number 442, Connor McLean. Ooh, looks like number 99, Bob Johnson, has just passed Connor McLean. And number 57, Rick Brink in fourth. One lap to go for your leader, number 443, Eddie McLean. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner is going to be number 443, Eddie McLean. Second's going to be number 442, Connor McLean. Following behind him is going to be number 99, Bob Johnson, and number 57, Rick Brink.
And I'll turn the microphone over to Matt down there. Give Matt a big hand of applause for announcing that Super Cup race. He did a fantastic job. Thank you, Matt.
Man, Eddie, I know you're at that age, and I'm sorry you had to sit over there for a long period of time. But you know, it was the fast 12 laps. Fast 12 laps. Now you can go drink a beer, drink water, whatever you feel like doing. But look at it this way. You still got one more feature. You're tied with Connor, but you have more feature wins than Connor.
Fortunately, I had some extra Geritol with me over in the truck over there, so that was some Pedialyte. But hey, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know the weather was threatening to get us, but God bless you guys for coming out and supporting us. We really appreciate that. And real quick, I want to thank a couple sponsors. We have some new sponsors come on board this year. We have Roger and Karen, Top Notch Feeds, of course John Doe, Jones Tax Solutions, Snap Auto Parts, Joe Mack Truck Bodies and Cranes. Who else goodness here. McDowell Homes, yes, McDowell Homes come on board with us this year. We're glad to have those as well. So appreciate everybody coming out. Sorry for the low truck count. We did have 2 of them break in the pits. We've got a couple more under construction. I've got 1 more we're building at the shop, so we'll get some more trucks out here for you real soon. Appreciate y'all coming out.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give a hand to your winner, Eddie McLean.
Wes Ennis, Kenny Feaster Jr., Don Rupner III, and Bob Page. Jonathan, flag in hand with Jonathan Smith down there, and we got a green. Sibla got a big jump on 77, so we'll see what goes here. Tight action, bumper to bumper. We're going to have a total restart here. We didn't get a lap in, so we'll restart them. Coming out of turn 3 and 4 at the go line, we got a green. Jonathan Smith, our flagman, to fill in for Terry Coletti. Rick Sibla out in front. Mark Stryker falling back to second. And here comes Wes Ennis in on the inside. Kenny Feaster right behind. Here comes Bobby Page. Looks like that 77 of Mark Stryker's a little loose coming out of the turns. Bob Page hanging right in there. Nick Grubbs up beside Mark Stryker. Don Rupner sliding a little sideways. Maybe something's going on in turn 4, but we got a few loose cars coming out of turn 4. Rick Sibla in control of this race. Wes Ennis in second. Kenny Feaster Jr. in a fine performance in third. Don Rupner Jr. And here comes Nick Grubbs on the outside. And Kevin McClintock's working his way up from the back. There's definitely something wrong with that 77 Snap-on car. It's not handling very well. Maybe something broke. Kevin McClintock on the outside of Don Rupner to third for 5th place. Watch that car, he's on the move. Will Walker's up on the inside. He and Phil Cox are having a nice battle back here. Okay, we got the 30 car, his first time out. He's going 1 lap down. Bobby Page on the outside of Don Rupner to third. Here comes Phil Cox. Up front, we still have Rick Sibla, Wes Ennis, Kenny Feaster Jr., and Nick Grubbs is now challenging for 3rd place. Right there's Kevin McClintock, multi-time track champion in different divisions here at Midvale Speedway. Back further in the pack, we got Phil Cox going around the outside of Don Rupner to third. And caution out, we got somebody spun out in turn 2. Out there giving the white flag, we'll bring them in for the restart. 10 laps in. Ten laps in, 15 to go. Here comes Jonathan Smith waving the green, and we have a green. Got Rick Sibla, Wes Ennis, Kenny Feaster, and Nick Grubbs on the outside, battling out for the lead. Sirens going down behind him. Rick Sibla's in command of this race. Wes Ennis is caught on the outside. Kenny Feaster moving up. Uh-oh. We got Kevin McClintock spinning out in turn 2. We got a green coming. Back to green and Rick Sibla out in the lead. Wes Ennis challenging on the outside. Kenny Feaster Jr. running a real good race for third. And Nick Grubbs on the outside. And Bobby Page coming up through there. Flagman Jonathan Smith is going to go halfway this time. Halfway home for Rick Sibla. Bobby Page up to third. Here comes Phil Cox on the inside of Wes Ennis. And Wes Ennis is trapped on the outside, so Nick Grubbs is going to get around him, and here comes Mark Stryker on the inside. Oh, looks like 24 got into 09. We'll have to watch a replay. Lights are out. Jonathan Smith has the green flag in his hand. We're going to try to go back to racing here. Still Rick Sibla and now Kenny Feaster on the outside making an impressive run tonight. Rick Sibla on the inside, Kenny Feaster on the outside. Here comes Bob Page and Phil Cox and Wes Ennis beside each other. Looks like that purple 69 animal car of Bob Schneider's having a little handling trouble. He's falling back. Now I think Kenny Feaster Jr. is caught on the outside, but he's doing a fine job on the outside of multi-feature winner Bob Page out there. Kevin McClintock is working his way up through traffic. He's right on the tail of Will Walker in the 50 car. Watch out, Kevin McClintock. He's got plenty of time to get back to the front. He's on a mission whenever he has to go to the tail. He is on a mission, so watch that 38 car. Bobby Page now right on the back door of Rick Sibla out there. Bob Page is putting a little chrome horn on the back of Rick Sibla. Wes Ennis sitting there in third place. Kenny Feaster, fine job tonight in fourth. And Bob Schneider's got serious trouble in his car. He's falling way back now. They're giving a blue and yellow flag to the 30 car of Ryan Ebling, first time in Braden Swaney's car. He's getting some quality seat time tonight. Here come the leaders up on Ryan Ebling, and that's what the blue and yellow flag means. Move over for the leaders. Nice job of Ryan Ebling to get up high. Jonathan Smith has a white flag in hand. One more lap to go. Can Bobby Page make a move on Rick Sibla out there? Rick Sibla is a veteran of this racetrack and others. Multi-time champion at Barberton and Midvale Speedway. And we got the checker flag out for Rick Sibla. Bobby Page Phil Cox, Kenny Feaster Jr., Wes Ennis, Kevin McClintock, Will Walker, Mark Stryker, and not sure who got from there on, but what a race. Nice job by these drivers. Give Bobby Page a hand when he comes by, putting on a good show. Give Wes Ennis a round of applause. And Phil Cox. And up coming to victory lane, the Ohio Solar Connection, victory lane, Rick Sibla. We like to thank Randy and Kim Smart, the owners of Ohio Solar Panels, for the great sponsorship that they provide for Victory Lane every week. In and out, they are here for us. Great family, great business. If you need Ohio Solar Panels, it's going to help your electricity. See Randy and Kim Smart, who's got a fine young little driver in the late model and modified class. But right now, give a big round of applause for Rick Sibla from Massillon, Ohio. Rick Sibla.
Well, congratulations, Rick. I know you picked up a feature win last year, driving for Bowers and all them in the O2. We're here the second week. Didn't get here until basically an intermission. Made a couple laps, stayed in the back during the feature, pulled off halfway through, but it looked like during practice today and heat races and then in the feature, it looked like you guys finally got the O2 tuned in.
Yeah, we really shouldn't even came down there 2 weeks ago. We got back to the garage and control arms were falling off and third link bolts weren't tight, and we just kind of rushed and probably shouldn't have, but we did get a nice little test and tune session that night, and we worked the last 2 weeks getting everything straightened around, finally getting the setup on it. And I want to thank my dad a lot. He came out in the garage and helped me a lot. I had to pull him away from my brother's car. But I'm just happy to finally get back, to Victory Lane this year. The first one's always hard to get. And, we ran good at the end of the year last year, but then we went down to Ona and felt like we jumped the car out and had to completely rebuild it again. That's what took us all winter to get it done. So I want to thank my wife and kids for putting up with me working on this all the time. And if it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't be here. And thanks a lot to Tim Bowers and Kraus Pizza, Mass Transmission, Backel Excavating, and Tim's Custom Car Center. And my wife, he needed to buy or sell a house. Ricky Sibla, Howard Hanna.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give a hand to your winner, Rick Sibla.
Looks like they're side by side. Flagman Jonathan Smith brings out the green. Side by side going into turn 1 and 2. Good start. 97 of Jason Kitzmiller taking the lead. 44. Ben Ebling runs up to second. Number 9 Ray Bird in third. And Mike Seneca pulls up the rear. 44 making a bid on the backside of Jason Kitzmiller out there, seeing if he can do a double feature win tonight. Jason Kitzmiller in control of this race right now, but 44 is Ben Ebling is right on the bumper. Oh. A little rough out there. And there's payback, so here we go. That was halfway last time, so there's 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go. Three more laps to go for Ben Emling to do a double feature. White flag in hand by Jonathan Smith for 44. Record flag out for the car 44 of Ben Embling, repeat winner, 97, Jason Kitchen, number 9 of Larry Berg, and 57, Mike Seneca brings up the tail. Cameron, there's more Pepsi down there. Told you I'd make you a star. Your winner in the second feature tonight, Ben Ebling. Pulling up in victory lane, the Ohio Solar Connection victory lane by Randy and Kim Smart for the second time tonight. Feature winner in the car 44. Ben Ebling out there. Everybody celebrating in victory lane. You exit out the flag stand and go back around when you go back to the pits. Thank you. We'd like to thank Joe Smaling and crew of the Super Cups. They come every year, and we would like to thank them for being here this year. They are a traveling series. They come from all over the country to race here at Midvale Speedway. Give Joe Smaling a big round of applause in the Super Cups. Okay, Jonathan Smith got the green flag in his hand. We look like we got a pretty good start up front. Katie Wood and Jason Gruhl. Brandon Thomas, Zach Koger, Bob Passwater Sr., and Bobby Page. Kyle Grove, Brandon Donnelly, Tad Grove, brother of Kyle, Dennis Wood. And then we have Tim Dreyer, Ron Rug, Tom Fellers, and Chase Berkey bringing up the tail. Chase Berkey must be having a little trouble tonight. Side by side out front for the lead. Good race going on here between Katie Wood and Jason Gruhl. Jason Gruhl drops back to second. Here comes Pork Chop on the inside. I've just been informed that the 99 car is brother Kyle Gruhl tonight. We've been announcing Jason in the car, and he's down south working somewhere. He works all the time. So Katie Wood is out in the lead. Zach Koger in second. Kyle Gruhl in 99. Bobby Page, 67. Pork Chop, Brandon Thomas in 8. Here comes Brandon Donnelly on the outside of Brandon Thomas. Bobby Passwater. We got a caution out. We got two cars up in the corner. Looks like Tim Dreyer and Tom Fellers. We got Bobby Page running his second feature in a row on the outside. Pork Chop, Brandon Thomas is in fifth. '44 Brandon Donnelly, 75 Bob Passwater Jr. We got a green. Bob Passwater Sr., excuse me. Katie Wood. Zach Koger gets a jump on the outside, and Katie Wood's car looks like it just shut off. Yellow flag out. Looks like Katie Wood's car just shut down. Running again on the outside. Kyle Gruhl makes it back out from changing the tire. Yeah. Kyle Gruhl joins the tail. And we got one lap to go with flagman Jonathan Smith with the white flag in hand. Okay, we got a green. Zach Koger and Bob Page getting a little bumpy out there. Bad break for the 67 car. 58 really giving a rough backstretch, and the tire blew. So he's going to be charged with a caution, and we're going to try and hook up the 67 car, see if he needs a tire or what. White flag in hand by Jonathan Smith. And we got Brandon Thomas and Brandon Donnelly on the pole here. Two Brandons. We got Bob Passwater Sr. and Dennis Wood. Pat Grove coming up on the outside. shot Brandon Thomas falling back, and he's doing a good job for about his 4th race ever. We got father and son out front, Brandon Donnelly and Dennis Wood. We'll see how this turns out. Tad Grove right on the back of Dennis Wood, and Kyle Grove in 4th. Brandon Thomas, Bob Passwater, Sr. Tim Croft in the 19, Katie Wood back up towards the front, making her way back up. Tim Dreyer. Here comes Zach Koger on the outside, Bobby Page, Kyle Grove, making their way back up through the pack. Back in the pack, Zach Koger is making his way back towards the front around Katie Wood on the outside. We still have Brandon Donnelly in the lead. Dennis Wood, Tad Grove, Kyle Grove, Bob Passwater Sr., Brandon Thomas, Tim Croft in a nice ride tonight. Katie Wood, Zach Koger side by side. 67 car of Bobby Page just pulled in the pits. His car is pretty heavily damaged out there. We still got Zach Koger and Katie Wood side by side. Katie Wood gets into the back of the Tim Croft vehicle out there. Tim Croft in about his 2nd or 3rd race is doing a fine job right there behind Brandon Thomas. Caution, we got a caution. Number 3 car slow down on the back straightaway. Donnelly and Dennis Wood, father-son team out front. Tad Grove in 3rd. Bob Passwater Sr. in 4th. That's a bad start. That's a bad start. Okay, that was a bad start. So Jonathan Smith's a flagman for filling in for Terry tonight. The 2 drivers on the pole have been warned. Father-son, we got to have it side by side on that white line. Got a green coming out. Looks like a good start coming out of turn 4. And Brandon Donnelly jumps out in front of his dad there. And here comes Tad Grove on the inside. Bob Passwater Sr. We got a caution out. Katie Wood spins out in turn 1 and 2. We'll have to see what happened there. Lights are out. Flagman Jonathan Smith has the green flag. We got 14 laps in, 6 more to go. We'll see how this goes. Any side by side coming out of turn 4. Water 17, good job. Brandon Donnelly jumps out in the lead. Dennis Wood goes high. Tad Grove is right on his bumper. Bob Passwater putting on a good show for 4th. And Porkchop putting on a nice show for 5th. Tad Grove on the inside of Dennis Wood. There's a little contact in turn 1 and 2. Zach Koger back up to 5th place around Brandon Thomas. Coming in on 2 laps to go. Dennis Wood fighting back on the inside of Tad Grove, side by side for 2nd. The white flag will come out next time around. And we got a nice battle between Katie Wood and Brandon Thomas and Tim Croft back there. Side by side for 2nd. Brandon Donnelly has a lead on the 2nd and 3rd place car. Coming out of 4. Double checkers by Jonathan Smith for Brandon Donnelly. Dennis Wood, Tad Grove, Bob Passwater Sr. And we got Zach Koger and Porkchop Brandon Thomas out there. But this guy, 44 car, he's been driving a couple years now. This is Dennis Wood's stepson. Brandon Donnelly out of Akron, Ohio, has just won his very first feature ever in racing. And Dad is down there, and I'm sure Katie Wood will stop to help celebrate. But there we go. Brandon Donnelly, his first feature ever. Give him a hand. Taking his victory lap, coming down into the Ohio Solar Connection victory lane. Thank you, Randy Smart, Kim Smart, for sponsoring our victory lane every week for every feature, every win.
Climbing out, give a hand to your winner, Brandon Donnelly.
Hey, do you want this shut down?
Well, Brandon, pick up your first career feature
I
win.
want to set the steps up so they can exit out the grandstand, please. Jeremy, Worland, can you put the steps up so they can exit out the grandstand?
As my boss interrupts me trying to interview you. First career feature win. Started near the front, you're able to keep it up. Well, you actually started mid-pack, if I'm correct. You were top 4 in the dash. So actually, it's a big improvement. Remember you being, a car that was slowly getting better and better and better. And then after opening night, you weren't here the second week. You're here tonight. You're able to challenge your dad there at the end. And he was at the outside of you on the start, but you're able to hold him off. Pick up your first career win. Who all would you like to thank on this 44?
I'd just like to thank everybody for helping us put this brand new car together. It's the second week out. Couldn't do it without everybody here. Really appreciate it. My kids love it. Well, thank you.
Any sponsors you want to thank?
Like to thank Nephews Painting, B&W Recycler, Lee's Famous Chicken, SNS Auto K&D Creations, UFO Fabrications, and I'd really like to put a special thanks out to my mom and stepdad Dennis for putting this car together for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give a hand to your winner, Brandon Donnelly.
All right, down there in the Ohio Solar Connection Victory Lane, the very first feature of this kid, he's been around here a couple years. His is his first feature ever. Proud family down there. They're all related, them three cars. We really want to thank Quaker Drive-Thru and JJ Loot and Angie Loot for being here tonight and sponsoring tonight's show. Most of the show's been a pretty good racing night. We really appreciate our sponsors here, and thank you, JJ and Angie.
Josh Huff and Tabitha trying to go. Number 427, Josh Huff is going to take the lead. Side-by-side action by number 36, Rich Dunlap, and number 5, Tabitha Stubert. Wide into turn 4. Braden Maurer has moved up to second place, looking to jump in front of Josh Huff. Caution is going to go out for, looks like number 79 has off of turn 4, you're going to have a green flag. Looks like Josh Huff, number 427, has taken the lead. Coming up behind him, though, is number 36, Rich Dunlap, with the side-by-side with Blaze Bacon. Blaze Bacon now moving side-by-side with Josh Huff, hoping to take the lead. And just like that, your number 57, Blaze Bacon, has taken the lead. Side-by-side action for your 7 and number 472. Blaze Bacon, number 57, has a strong lead. Falling behind him is going to be number 007, Don Rufner III. Halfway home on your Bucky Milling Compact feature. Blaze Bacon still in the lead. White flag out for your leader, Blaze Bacon. Don Rufner hot on his tail, hoping to take the lead from him. Your top five is going to be Blaze Bacon, Don Rufner III, Josh Hupp, Rich Dunlap, and Phil Button Jr. Pulling up to your Ohio Solar Connection victory lane is going to be number 57, Blaze Bacon.
Pulling into victory lane, Blaze Bacon. Give him a round of applause in our Ohio Solar Connection victory lane.
Give a hand to your winner, Blaze Bacon. Well, congratulations, Blaze. You were fast last night in practice. You actually had to hold off the guy that was top qualifier. Again, it's been top qualifier the last 3 weeks, but it was a pretty good show. You, Rufner III, basically had about a full straightaway over the third and fourth place of Dunlap and Huff. What would you like to think on the 57?
Boulevard lanes, Scott Jarvis, Big D's tires, 2D's garage, facing Matt Cav. She was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 months back, and I threw that on the hood for her because she's nice. She was one of Mike's friends. This one's for Mike.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give a hand to your winner, Blaze Bacon.
Turn 4 with a green flag. Number 84, Scott Wiggins, going to take first place. Side-by-side action from your number 69, Drew Roming, and your number 85, Jonathan Weber. Your number 69, Andrew Roman, looked to have a little bit of trouble there, but now he's back in action. Number 17, Noah Kaufman's giving number 84, Scott Whitman, a run for his money right now. We are halfway. Your number 100, James Raines, is trying to take over second place. Taking the third place spot. Side by side for your number 84, Scott Whitman, and 100, James Raines. One more lap to go. Into turn 4 with a green-white checkered. Start. Checkered flag for your number 84, Scott Whiteman. Second is going to be number 22, Brett Irwin. Third, James Raines. Fourth, Chris Biller. 5, Zach Marshall. up to your Ohio Solar Connection victory lane is going to be Scott Whitman, number 84.
Give a hand to your winner, Scott Whitten. Well, Scott, started up near the front. You're able to keep it going. And only your second race, if I'm correct, second race is 2 weeks ago. You actually had problems after qualifying that you left. I think you might have figured it out. But you won the feature. This puts you into the A main next week. So, who all would you like to thank on this 84?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Ronald, Phil, everybody helped me out. Daniel.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give a hand to your winner, Scott Whitten.
Connections victory lane is going to be number 443, Eddie McLean. Round of applause for him.
We would like to thank Ohio Solar Connection for our victory lane as our sponsor. And I will turn the microphone over to Matt down there. Give Matt a big hand of applause for announcing that. by these drivers. Give Bobby Page a hand when he comes by. Puts on a good show. Give that Dennis a round of applause. Bill Fox. Now coming to Victory Lane. Ohio Solar Connection. Victory Lane. Rick Sebla. We'd like to thank Randy and Kim Smart, the owners of Ohio Solar Panels, for the great sponsorship that they provide for Victory Lane every week. In and out, they are here for us. Great family, great business. You need Ohio Solar Panels. It's going to help your electricity. See Randy and Kim Smart. Got a fine young little driver in the late model and modified class. But right now, give a big round of applause for Rick Stibler.
Out of Akron, Ohio, has just won his very first feature ever in racing. And Dad's down there, and I'm sure Katie will stop to help celebrate. There we go. Brandon Donnelly, his first feature ever. Give him a hand. Victory Lane. Thank you, Randy Smart and Kim Smart.
your Ohio Cooler connection is number 57, Blaze Bacon.